Hello everybody and welcome to Quality Sewing and Vacuum. I am Andrea and we are here today with our How Do I, and we are going to learn how to make silk screening on your ScanNCut with AI. Isn't that so exciting? So this all kind of came about as kind of happen chance with my husband this last January. We were trying to make an apron. My husband and his best friend make pancakes at this pancake breakfast, and they have been for like 7 years, and they wanted to make this silly apron that says BFF for best flippin' friends, because it with spatulas, because they flip pancakes, right? So we decided we were going to do it this year, and my husband jumps onto AI. For the sake of this presentation, we use Google Gemini because it's free and it was super easy. And he generated a couple of images. You have to do it a couple of times, and we're going to walk through that. But he printed out this sheet of a picture just like this. I scanned it into my machine, and like 10 minutes later, we had these cool aprons. It was so fast and so easy, and I've been doing it repeatedly over and over and over again. So let's walk through the process of how to do that. First, we're going to get started with how to get an image on Gemini or any AI processed images. Okay, so I've got some keywords that we need to go over that you want to put in when you go into the search engine of your AI generator. So some of the keywords that you want to put on there, if you want like kind of a round shape to it, kind of like this or like this, you're going to want to put the word in logo. Can you see that? There we go. That's better. You can also use the words like silhouette, which will help get you like a black and white image, or also put in the words black and white. And then you want to put in your keywords like we put in spatulas here, or mountains on this one with the ocean and the certain words that we wanted. And then on this one, I put a cat and a sewing machine. Oh, you can't see that very well, but I'll show you that in a second. So anyways, and if that isn't quite getting you what you want to put in the word bold lines, simplify. If it's too like complicated, I'll go over some images that I got to get to this so scary one. I created this one. And if it's still not doing what you want it to, you can say change like the hat to just hair, or you can also ask it to take things out, because it will give you an image and then it'll have another space where you can tell it things. Okay, so we have instructions that you can go on to our website, and this will all be on there, so it'll make so much sense. Okay, so once you get past this part, all the other creation part is super, super easy. Okay, so so this was the first one that we created. This was just vinyl. And then my girlfriend was like, we have 40 t-shirts to make for our family camp out with all of our friends. And this was we actually made a ton of these for our family and friend camp out. We wanted something very specific, and it took seconds to create this. And then I made this one just because I wanted to create something for this How Do I. So other ones that I created this was a little summer Sunday school camp that we did for the youth. This one was perfect because the lines were big and bold and everything was simple. This one was something we created for our ballroom club, like that, AI generated. And so the first one I want to show you, the first picture to get to of the So Scary, was this one. It looked so cool, but it was way too complicated. So I asked AI, can you simplify that a little bit? And so they did. And I asked them to put in a cat. I thought, ooh, a cat would be really cute. So I thought, oh, that one's cute, but still, it's too much for my ScanNCut to get all these really tiny pieces and things. And so I asked it to simplify it one more time. And so that is what this one came out to be. So just keep in mind when you do, your images aren't going to come out perfect the first time. If it does, then it's good. That was awesome. But you'll have to kind of generate it and ask it, can you change that? Can you change this? Until you come up with the image that you actually want. So that's like the hardest part about this whole process. So once you come up with the image that you want and you've printed it off of your machine, I'm going to get out my scanning pad here for the ScanNCut. Of course, it's on the bottom here. Ta-da! And I have the super long scanner. So the scanning sheet for the ScanNCut is different than the cutting sheet. It doesn't have any grid on it, and it has this clear sheet over the top. And I've got my image that I printed off of my printer right here. I blew it up as far as I could, or as much as I could. And you're going to slide it right underneath here. And then you want to make sure that you get out any air bubbles on there, just like that. We're going to come over to my ScanNCut right here. And you're going to want to load it in. This is kind of complicated because it's big and I'm hanging off the table here. But can you see how I'm putting my hand right here? This is going to help to keep any of the bubbles down. So sometimes you may have to scan this a time or two because there will be air bubbles in it. If it doesn't work the first time, just delete it and try it again. So how you do that is you take your little stiletto and I'm going to press scan like this. Now that I've loaded my my mat into here with my image that I want, then I want to ScanNCut data, which is this middle one right here. And I'm going to tell it to start, and it's going to scan in this whole thing and come out. Well, we'll just do it. We're going to start that. Now I am going to put my hand right here because this will help to keep any air bubbles down. Just like that. All right, looking beautiful. Okay, it's almost done here. And I want to make sure that I only want it to scan the area that has my image in it. So I'm going to make this smaller, but like that. And then I'm going to press OK. It says it's recognizing it, it's thinking about it right there. It's thinking, and it's still thinking. It's almost done. There it goes. Okay, and then because I don't want just the outside of the image, I want all of it. I want the inside and the outside. So I'm going to press that button. And here you can see, oh, it did a great job. It went around all the little edges, all around the entire image here. And then I would press OK, and then it's going to, well, we'll just walk through it. I've already done it, but I'm going to walk you through how to do the whole process. Now here it's going to ask you, do you want to save it to wirelessly to your computer? Do you want to save it right to your machine here? Or do you want to save it to a USB or yeah, a USB stick. So I'm just going to tell it, I would like to save it into the machine. So it's saving it right there. See how easy this is? This is so awesome and so easy. Okay, saved into the machine's memory. I just press OK. And then I'm going to go back to home. Okay, to delete the patterns. Okay, it's fine because I already saved it in there. I'm going to take my mat out because I don't need this mat anymore. We're going to set that aside right there. And how do you find it? We're going to go to retrieve data. Right here, we're going to retrieve it from my machine. And then it's all, when you add new stuff, it goes all the way to the bottom. So I'm going to press that button, which will take us all the way down. And we've got this image right here. There it is. And when you are going to cut it out, I have this sheet. I put an entire cover of vinyl, heat press vinyl. You want to use heat press vinyl when you're going to make your silk screen image, because we're going to iron this image onto a piece of organza. Okay, so you want your piece as big as the entire cutting area, and then we're going to put the image right in the very middle. You want to make sure that you keep all of this this extra negative space on here, and we're going to pick out all of the other space, the positive space. We're going to load in our mat right here. Okay, got a little extra there. Should see if I have some tape. Okay, so now that we've loaded it, whenever you do heat press vinyl, you want to make sure that you are going to flip or mirror the image. If you were to print it out this way, you would be sad, because when you go to iron it onto your thing, it will be backwards. So what you need to do, this is all loaded. We're going to press OK right here. We're going to go to the word edit, and we're going to go to this one that has all the little red boxes right there. And we are going to, once again, highlight the whole area that we want to highlight. Okay, can you see in here how it is highlighting every tiny little piece like this? That's okay, that's what we want highlighted. But if you were to go and mirror this, it would mirror every individual little piece. You want the whole image to flip, not every tiny little piece, otherwise it looks like scrambled eggs. Okay, we're going to press OK. We're going to go back to Object Edit, and then we're going to go to this little box that has some little shapes, a circle and a triangle in there, and we're going to press that. And bam, our entire image is going to be highlighted. And in this case, we are going to go up to the mirror, which has two little arrows pointing to each other. Boom, like that, and voila, just like that, we've mirrored our entire image, so it is backwards. And now we can press OK. Okay, we're ready to cut already. We're already ready to cut. Isn't that so exciting? Okay, we're going to press OK again, and then the machine is asking, what do we want to do from here? We want to cut it. Yes, we do. Okay, now it's important when you are using the heat press vinyl that you have it on half cut. Actually, any of the vinyl, whether it's heat press or if it's just the one that goes straight onto like a mug or something like that, you want to press it on half cut, because the vinyl is going to be set on top of like a clear transfer sheet. So you don't want to cut through all of it. So you just want to cut through half. Now how you get to this is you press the little wrench, I guess, and then you're going to go down until you see half cut. You want to make sure that it is on. It is on, so we're going to press OK. And then we're going to just start cutting. Right like that. And while that is cutting, we are going to talk about how to prep your t-shirt over here. We're going to let that do its thing. Oh, wait. I think there was I put a little too much extra vinyl at the very front of here, and so it didn't like it there for a hot minute. Okay. So if you put too much on there, then you'll have to trim it a little bit, which is okay because I've already cut it out. But so we're going to pretend that we cut it all out already, which is really exciting. Okay. Otherwise, I don't want you to have to like sit here. I put a little bit too much extra on the top and it's curling up. So if I had a piece of tape, I put tape on there to like make it stay down. But we're going to pretend like it all cut out and it's all in the middle there. I already have it cut out, so I'm going to show you that in a second right over here. So come on over here with me. And this is actually what it looks like if I was to cut this out and iron it right onto here. I'll take it out of this. This is a wooden embroidery frame, and I got this for a couple dollars at the thrift store. And There we go. Popped it right out of there. Here is my organza. It's just a scrap of organza. Let's see, which way can you see? There you go. Now organza is sheer, it's more stiff, and the ink is going to go right through this fabric. But it's very stable fabric. You can get it at lots of craft stores now that a certain store is not open. So I made sure that my piece of organza is at least 2 inches all around bigger than my actual hoop is. And then can you see now why you want to keep all this negative space on the image right here? And I picked out all the positive. Anywhere where I want the ink to go, this is the positive, this is the positive right here. You want to keep all the negative because this is going to keep your ink where you want it to go. Okay, so I'm going to put that right in the middle there. Right, like, yes, no. I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to put the big hoop on first and then the little one. So you want your fabric to go inside of your hoop. It's tricky because I already did it. It doesn't want to go back in there. There it goes, right in there. Beautiful, just like that. Okay, so I put it in there so the image is back. So when I put it down, it's going to lay right onto my t-shirt. Can you see that? So the ridge is up here. So when I lay the image down, it's going to go right onto the t-shirt right like that. I'm going to tighten up this little screw right here, just a little bit. Then I want to make sure that my image in here is nice and tight all the way around, right like that. And then I'm going to finish tightening it up by hand. You don't need any special tools to finish this up. Oh my goodness, look at that. Are you ready to make like 40 t-shirts now that we put the image on here? One thing that I wanted to show you, if I had been able to cut that out, is we have this Singer Memento heat press right here. Can you see the entire ironing surface is this big square? I'm not going to touch it because it is currently hot. Ooh, it is a whole 300 degrees. Can you see how it's got that beautiful flat surface? So when you go to iron on your vinyl right onto it, the entire area is going to come out smooth and perfect, and you're not going to miss any areas. So what I love about this versus an iron, a regular iron, is an iron you have to like put it here and here, and then you have to test to make sure that you didn't miss any areas. But when you have the heat press, it's going to get all of the areas all at once. So your tools, your main tools that you definitely want your ScanNCut. You definitely are going to want a heat press too. Okay, so we've got I'm going to make sure that this is nice and tight, right like that. Are you so excited? Are you ready to make a screen print? This is going to be so great. All right, so I've got, I wanted to show you this one. This was the little Sunday school camp thing. Can you see how I've like jimmy rigged some extra pieces? I was using up my scraps, so I put other scrap pieces of vinyl around the edges so none of the ink would come out when we squeegeed the ink over the top of this. So I used packing tape and some extra scraps of vinyl to cover up the extra holes down there. So just in case you don't have a really big piece of vinyl, you can still make it happen inside the hoop. So you're working with ink, so you don't want the ink to go all over the place. Okay, I've got a t-shirt right here. We are going to make a So Scary t-shirt. One of the first things you want to do is to make sure that you have a scrap piece of paper. This is just a piece of not contact paper, but construction paper. I'm going to start with a C. And you want to put that inside your t-shirt. because you don't want the ink to go through onto the other side. And the cool about this is actually, I've used this construction paper for 2 other projects already. And I just kind of keep it in my collection of tools for when I make my screen prints. Okay, so if you're super, like, want to make sure that you are making it right in the center of your t-shirt, you are more than welcome to use like a friction pen or something and mark out the center of your t-shirts. But just for the sake of having a fun time with this, I'm just going to eyeball it. So here's my ink. I got it's fabric screen printing ink set, like this. It comes in a bunch of colors in here, and we chose blue because that's Quality Sewing and Vacuum's color. So we are going to do that. So we're going to use the blue. And once again, when you hoop your vinyl image right here, you can see, I don't know if you can see that, you can see my hand through there. The ink is going to go through the dark parts right here and not the vinyl. All right, I'm just going to eyeball it because it's just going to be a silly t-shirt. That's going to be super fun. I'm going to move aside my heat press right there. I'm going to use bring my inks back right like this. We're going to see if we can get the upper camera working there. So I've got my ink right here. Oh, that looks beautiful. It's so exciting. So this tool is actually for making bread in your kitchen, but it has a nice flat edge on it and it's pretty big. There are probably official tools that you can use for this, but this worked really well. And I'm using just a plastic knife to get some of the ink out here. And a little bit of the ink goes a long way. Just gonna put that on here. Like so. Oh, I dripped some. And watch this. Let's see. Right there. Okay. This is so cool. I'm going to make sure that we're on here. And you just squeegee it right across. Okay. And you want to make sure that it all gets on there. I got to get some more. Going to put a couple of coatings on here. And when you're making 40 of them at a time, you get really good at it. You make sure that they're all on there. And I like to use like a clothing drying rack to hang out my outfits. Okay. Now there's a lot of different techniques you can use with this. If you wanted it to look kind of vintagey and old, you could make sure that you don't put as much ink on there. Okay, that is it. Are you so excited for the reveal? Let me make sure I got a little bit on this side like this. Okay, so you could kind of see how it's moving it around and kind of going in from all the different angles like that to make sure all the little edges were gathered in there. Set that aside. Drum roll as we pull it off of the t-shirt. Oh, look at that. That is so exciting. Ooh, I missed one of my little bats there. But good thing this was just an experimental t-shirt there. But okay, we have an official So Scary t-shirt. What I love about this is that you can make this your own. You can, if you are going to have like a girls' retreat, if you have something silly like the BFF spatulas with a heart around it that you want to design your own, you can with the simple tools of AI and your ScanNCut and your Memento heat press. You can make your screen prints lickety split just like that. And that's how easy and exciting and fun it is. This is really, really fun. I hope that you now are going to go and get your own ScanNCut because I've really utilized this for so many things now. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, just let us know. And I can't wait to see what you create with your ScanNCut too.